Hello, dear students. Today we are going to do Unit 5, Section 1. Chapter's name is Traveling Through Time. This chapter is taken from a novel named The Time Machine, written by H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells is famous for writing science fiction. And here in this story, the narrator who is telling the story is the main character, and his name is the time traveler. He is basically a scientist and inventor in England. England means he belonged to England, who has been able to construct a machine that will allow him to travel through time. This man, the time traveler, invented a time machine. With the help of that machine, he could travel through time. Means he could travel in the future or in the past, wherever he like in the time. And here there are some more people present there when this time traveler is showing his invention, his time machine. And those are the people with the names like Very Young Man, Philby, narrator himself, H.G. Wells was also there, medical man, and psychologist. Okay, so here let's see what happened in the story. The time traveler's grey eyes shone and twinkled, and his usually pale face was flushed and animated. Here, while this time traveler is telling the people, the group, about his invention, he was very happy, and that's why his eyes are shining and twinkle with the happiness, and his usually pale face means his face remains pale means yellowish and dull, but this time when he is telling the groups about something, his face was flushed and animated. Flush means red, means looking reddish, not looking pale or yellowish or lifeless, but looking full of life. And animated means full of interest and energy. The fire burned brightly as we sat around listening to him after a very satisfying dinner. Here H.G. Wells is telling that he's sitting with all the other people, with the whole group, and this man, the time traveler, is telling us about something. And here they are gathered near the fire after the dinner. For some time now, said the time traveler, I have been playing with an idea that struck me some time ago, to create a machine that could enable me to travel through time. And then the time traveler told all the people who were gathered there that he was having an idea from a very long time, and on the basis of that idea he created a machine, and with the help of that machine he could travel through time. Means he could travel into future or in the past, wherever he like. To travel through time, scoffed the very young man. What an imagination you have. Scoff means spoke in a rude, unkind way. There was a man with the name Very Young Man. This man very rudely asked him that you are he was surprised actually, and said that you can travel through time. And according to him, this is just an imagination, and this man, the time traveler, is just fooling them or trying to fool them, according to this very young man, and that's why he was rude. A machine, repeated the time traveler, that shall travel indifferently in any direction of space and time, as a driver determines. Then again, the time traveler, he was on his words, and he again repeated that yes, he has invented a machine, and with the help of machine he could travel in space and time wherever he liked, or the driver who is driving the machine could go anywhere in the space and time. There was another man who was presented there, his name Philby. When Philby heard about the machine, he laughed loudly. But I have experimental verification, said the time traveler. According to time traveler, he is ready to prove that he really invented something like that. Experimental verification, cried I. You are going to verify that? Then our narrator, our writer, H.G. Wells, he cried loudly that he's really has some verification and he has experimented something. These are not just his words or just his imagination. Yes, I intend to, he responded confidently. Intend to means yes, he said according to him he has intentions, means he is thinking, and he is ready to verify that machine in front of all. But nobody was ready to believe on his words that he has invented something which was never invented by anybody, and something which is very surprising, some like a time machine. So everybody was surprised. Let's see your experiment then, said the psychologist. So it's all humbug, you know. And there is one more character, a psychologist was also there. Psychologist, a psychologist is a scientist who is trained in the study of the mind. And according to him, this is just a humbug. Humbug means something dishonest that is intent to trick people. Means, according to him, this time traveler is just tricking with the people, and there is nothing in reality like a time machine, and that's why he demanded to show them the experiment. The time traveler smiled round at us. Smile round at us means the time traveler smiled through the whole group. He gave a smile to the whole group, all the people who were there. Then he walked slowly out of the room, and we heard his slippers shuffling down the long passage to his laboratory. Shuffling means walking slowly without lifting his feet completely off the ground. Means very quietly. He left the room and he entered into his laboratory where he was experimenting on things. This man is a scientist and he used to invent things, so he has a laboratory there. The psychologist looked at us. I wonder what he's got. Then the psychologists and other people all were surprised, and psychologists looked all the people who were there in wonder, and all the people were also looking at him back. And psychologist said, I wonder what he's got. If he really entered into the laboratory to bring something, so that thing is surprising all the people as well as the psychologists. Some silly trick or other, said the medical man. There is another character, medical man. Medical man said, maybe this is not anything real but some trick. He's trying to play some trick on us. The time traveler came back, and the thing he held in his hand was a glittering metallic object. Then the time traveler, he returned back from his laboratory with something in his hands, and it is something metallic object, and it is glittering. Glittering means brightly shining. Scarcely larger than a small clock, and it's a very small type of thing, just like a small clock, and very delicately made, and it seemed that it is something very delicate. There was ivory in it. Ivory means a hard yellowish white substance like bone that forms the tusk of elephants and some other animals, and some transparent crystalline substance. So here, when the man brought the thing, it was made of some metallic object, and it seems like a small clock, and it looks very delicate sort of clock, and there are a few things in it. There is some ivory, and crystalline substance was also there. Crystalline substance means something made of crystals. A crystal is a small piece of substance with many even sides that is formed naturally when the substance becomes solid. So the thing was made with all these materials. Then the scientist, he took one of the small tables that were scattered about the room. Scattered about the room means there was a table in the room and set in front of the fire. On this table, he placed the device. Then the time traveler put that device, which was looking just like a small clock, on a table. Then he drew up a chair and sat down. And in front of that table, he sat down on a chair. The only other object on the table was a small shaded lamp. Then there was something more on the table, a shaded lamp, a small one, the bright light of which fell upon the model. Model means that machine, and the light of the lamp was falling on that machine. There were also perhaps a dozen candles about in brass candlesticks upon the mantle. Mantle means a shelf above a fireplace. So there were some dozen means almost you can say 12 candles were there in the brass candlesticks upon the mantle. In old houses, there were fireplaces, and on the fireplaces there were usually shelves. So on that shelf there was a candlestick, and on that candlestick there were many candles, so that the room was brilliantly illuminated. And due to those dozens of candles, the room was illuminated. Illuminated means brightly lit. We were all on the alert, and all the people of the group were very alert, and they wanted to see his experiment, his invention. It did not seem possible that he would be able to play a trick on us in any way. So in that condition, when all the people were gathered there and he was sitting in front of them, so playing any trick upon them is almost impossible. The time traveler looked at us and then at the device. Well, said the psychologist, this little affair, said the time traveler, is only a model. It is my plan for a machine to travel through time. Then the time traveler introduced his machine to all the people. And he said that this little affair means this is the thing which he wanted to show them, his invention, is only a model. Is only a model means this is just a miniature, and this is not the original thing, but on the basis of this model he will create the original thing. It is my plan for a machine to travel through time, and like this model he will create a time machine, and with the help of that time machine he will be able to travel through the time. We looked at one another in astonishment. When the time traveler said these words, and when he told about his machine, then all the people who were present there were in astonishment. Astonishment means they were in great surprise that there is something in real, and there is something like a time machine which they have never seen or heard. He went on, pointing with his finger. Then the time traveler introduced his invention, his machine, to all the people, and he showed it, pointing towards it with his finger. It is one little white lever. He showed something in the machine, and we can call it a white lever. Like for operating any machine, we need a switch, a kind of switch you can say. So there was a white lever in it, Lever means a handle used to operate the time machine. And here is another. Then he showed them the white lever and another kind of lever in that. When I press this lever, the machine will glide into the future. Glide means move smoothly. Then he told them that if he will press the lever on the machine, then he could move into the future with the help of this machine. And when I press the other, I will travel back into the past. So there are two levers in the machine. One, with the help of one, he could travel into the future, and with the other, he could travel back to past. The medical man got up out of his chair and peered into the thing. It's beautifully made, he said. Then medical man seemed like he is relying on the words of the scientist, and uh, he just got up from his chair and peered into the thing. Into the thing means into the machine. Peered means he gazed that. He saw that very carefully and called it that and said that it's very beautifully made. It took 2 years to make, responded the time traveler. And then the time traveler told him that it took him 2 years to make this time machine. When all of us had crowded around to take a close look at the machine, then after the medical man, all the men who were there in the group came near to the time traveler and they observed the machine very carefully. He said, "Presently I am going to press the lever and off the machine will go. It will vanish, pass into future time and disappear." Then the time traveler said that if I will, means he is just going to switch on the button, the lever, and then when he will switch on the lever, his machine will go into the future and it will vanish from here. Have a good look at the thing. And he asked all the people to look at the machine very carefully. Look at the table too and satisfy yourself there is no trickery. And he asked all the people to be very careful so that they can't blame him that he is just playing a trick or magic upon them. There was a minute's pause. Then everybody became silent. Then the time traveler put forth his finger. Then the time traveler put forth his finger towards the lever. And this is the time traveler just put his finger on the lever. "No," he said suddenly, "lend me your hand." And turning to the psychologist, he took that individual's hand in his own and told him to put out his forefinger, so that it was the psychologist himself who sent forth the model time machine on its fantastic voyage. But the psychologist still he has some doubts, so he asked the scientist to put that lever on with his own hands. And then our time traveler, he helped the psychologist to put his finger on the time machine to put on the lever, or you can say to switch on the lever and to send the time machine on its fantastic voyage. Voyage means to travel through the time. We all saw the lever turn, and at the very moment when the psychologist just put on the lever button, everybody observed that the thing was not any trickery. I'm absolutely certain that there was no trickery. There was a breath of wind and the lamp flame jumped. One of the candles on the mantle was blown out. And here H.G. Wells, our writer, is telling us that everybody was surprised and everybody was confirmed that the time traveler was not playing any trickery with upon them. Okay. And there was a wind, and then the lamp's flame jumped. It seemed like it is jumping, means it flickered. One of the candles on the mantle was blown out, and there were many candles on the mantle piece. So one of the candle was blown out due to the wind, and the little machine suddenly swung round, became indistinct. And then, as the psychologist switched on the a machine's lever, it started swung round. Swung round means started circling. Became indistinct, was seen as a ghost for a second, perhaps as an eddy of faintly glittering brass and ivory, and it was gone, vanished. Okay, this machine, it took a round as they switched it on, and then became indistinct. Indistinct means that cannot be seen clearly. Means as it started taking a round, a circling round, that's why it became unclear to them. Was seen as a ghost for a second, perhaps. And in the beginning, it seemed to them that it's circling like a ghost. As an eddy. Eddy means a movement of the machine in a circle. The machine started moving in a round circle of faintly glittering brass and ivory. Faintly means not very clear. And this machine, which was made of brass and ivory, it started becoming faint, and it was gone, vanished. And suddenly then, after taking a circling round, it vanished. Vanished means it disappeared. Save for the lamp, the table was bare. You know what were the things on the table? There was the machine on the table, and there was a lamp on the table. But now, after that, there was only lamp. Save for means except for. So there was only lamp remain on the table, and the machine was gone. After seeing all this, everyone was silent for a minute. Due to the shock, they were all silent. The psychologist recovered from his stupor. That psychologist could not blame that the time traveler played some trick upon them, because he himself switched on the button of the lever, and that's why he was most shocked among all the people, and he was in his stupor. Stupor means a state in which you are unable to think, hear, etc. clearly, because you had a shock. Everybody was in shock, but he was in great shock, and suddenly looked under the table. At that, the time traveler laughed cheerfully, and then the psychologist tried to find the machine under the table, and then the time traveler started laughing cheerfully when he observed that everybody was shocked and his invention is really successful. Well, what do you think of my invention? He said. And then he asked all the people to say something about his invention. We stared at each other, but all the people who were there, they were in great surprise. Look here, said the medical man. Are you in earnest about this? Then the medical man said to the time traveler, are you in earnest? In earnest means serious. Do you seriously believe that machine has traveled into time? Still, this man is surprised, and his mind is not ready, because he's man of science, medical man. He's surprised that there could be anything like time machine. Certainly, said the time traveler. What is more, I have a big machine nearly finished in there. He indicated the laboratory. Then the time traveler showed them the actual machine, which he is preparing on the basis of this model which he had just showed them. And he indicated he indicated the laboratory, means he pointed towards the laboratory, that there is a bigger machine on the basis of this model. And when that is put together, I mean to have a journey on my own account. And then the time traveler told them that he is nearly at finishing point of his machine, and when he will finish his machine, or you can say when he will complete his machine, then he will uh, travel with the help of that machine in the future as well as in the past. You mean to say that that machine has traveled into the future, said Philby. Then Philby is also in surprise. So he asked him that, do you really mean that this machine could travel in the future? Into the future or the past? I don't, for certain, know which. We sat and stared at the vacant table for a minute or so. Then the time traveler said that yes, it could travel into the future or into the past. For would you like to see the time machine itself? Asked the time traveler. He led the way down the long, draughty corridor to his laboratory. Then, draughty means, actually we call it drafty. Drafty means uncomfortable because cold air is blowing through corridor to his laboratory. I remember vividly. Vividly means very clearly how we all followed him. Then he asked all the members of the group to follow him towards the laboratory, and there is cold wind in the laboratory. Then here H.G. Wells is telling us that he could very clearly remembered that all the people followed the time traveler, puzzled but incredulous. And everybody was puzzled, everybody was surprised but incredulous. Incredulous means not able to believe something. They were surprised but not ready to believe him. And how there in the laboratory we beheld a larger edition of the little mechanism which we had seen vanish from before our eyes. Everybody was surprised to think that they are going to see a bigger machine like the previous one, which they the machine which disappeared in front of them. And this machine will also disappear. This machine could also travel in the time. Their minds are not ready to accept this. Parts were of nickel, parts of ivory, parts had certainly been filed or swan out of rock crystal. The thing was generally complete, but the twisted crystalline bars lay unfinished upon the bench beside some sheets of drawings, and I took one up for a better look at it. Then the writer H.G. Wells, when he entered into the laboratory with other friends, with the other people of the group, he saw that the machine was made with nickel, ivory, and there were some tools also, and rock crystal was there, and the machine was almost completed, and only a few work was to be done on the machine to complete it. And then H.G. Wells himself took one of the part of the machinery in his hands and observed it very carefully. Quartz, it seemed to be. Quartz means a hard mineral, often in crystal form. And then he observed something, and when he observed, he called it quartz. And quartz means a hard mineral, often in crystal form. Did you really build this yourself? The psychologist demanded. Then, in astonishment, in surprise, the psychologist asked him that he is the man behind this machine. He is the maker of this machine. The time traveler pointed. I did. Here, this saddle-like thing is where the time traveler will sit when he sets out on his journey through time. Then The time traveler very confidently replied to the psychologist in that he himself is creating this machine, and there is a part in the machine which is called a saddle. Saddle means a leather seat for a rider on a horse, like we sit on the saddle on a horse. So in the same way, there is a part in the time machine where you can sit, and after sitting on it you can travel through the time, and you can have your journey. Look here, said the medical man. Are you perfectly serious? Or is this a trick like that ghost you showed us last Christmas? But still, medical man uh, is not believing on his words, and he then demanded him that if he's not playing any trick upon them like he has played last time on last Christmas. Yes, said Philby, don't tell us that you actually intend to use this fantastic machine. And Philby is also not ready to believe that this man, the time traveler, is going to use this machine to travel through the time. Indeed, said the time traveler, holding the lamp aloft. Lamp aloof means on a above level. Uh, the time traveler holded the lamp, and he was very much confident, and he said, indeed, indeed means without any doubts, he is going to use this machine to travel through the time. Upon that very machine, I intend to explore time. Is that plain? Is that plain means is that clear? Means it is something very simple, that he will use his machine, and with the help of this machine he will travel through the time. I was never more serious in my life. And according to him, he is not joking with them, he is not playing any trick with them, but he is very much serious, and he was never so much serious in his life like this time. None of us quite knew how to take it. But all the people were in surprise, and they were unable to think that how they should respond to him. Should they believe him or not? That's all about the chapter. H.G. Wells, written by H.G. Wells, and this one is abridged. Actually, this one is taken from the novel The Time Machine.